Signing day is one of the greatest days for a young athlete's entire life. All of that hard work, blood, sweat, and tears has finally paid off for that one single moment. Unless you were this guy. Meet Jacob Copeland. Like many other big time recruits, his signing day was really hyped up. Maybe saying his signing day was hyped up would even be an understatement because his was on national TV, so you could say it was a pretty big deal. Jacob was a 4-star recruit out of Pensacola, Florida, and he held offers from almost every big time program. So fortunately enough for him, when you are as good as him, you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go. His entire recruitment process was a big mess because he didn't know where he wanted to go and there was an unclear answer. For the main part, that's why a lot of people was tuned in to see where he would go because nobody had any idea. Going into his big day, it was a weird scene to say the least. Before he even made his announcement, it was strange because he was wearing a red suit, his mom was wearing Alabama football clothes, but she also had on a Tennessee beanie. Then some other family members also had on Alabama gear and Tennessee clothing. One thing to peep and take notice in is that on the table he had a Tennessee hat, an Alabama hat, and a Florida hat. But nobody in the family had on any Florida gear, and there was a reason for that, and we'll touch on that a little later in this video. And when it was time for him to make his big decision, he picked up the Florida hat, and that's where he said he was going to play. Doesn't seem like too big of a deal, right? Well, it was. As soon as he put on that Florida hat, his mom got up and straight up left. You could tell by the way she was walking, her attitude and mannerisms that she wasn't happy. If things couldn't have got even worse, it was straight up awkward because the camera was sitting on Copeland and then the announcer asked him why did his mom leave and all he said was, I don't know. It's really a tough position because he didn't want to explain it, but he knew why she got up. She was disgusted with his decision, and we'll just leave it at that. And this was, and even till this day, is one of the biggest signing day controversies of all time. The only one that can top that, at least in my opinion, is the situation with Landon Collins when he went to Alabama. Now hold on right there, pump the brakes. It's not as simple as that. There's a lot about this story and behind the scenes that nobody has even talked about. There's real and legit reasons as to why his mom was extremely frustrated with his decision. We're going to touch on all of that later in this video, but the main question and the real question we're left with till this day is what happened to Jacob Copeland after this incident? What's good, y'all? Hope you're having a blessed day. Just wanted to drop by and say we're on the road to 1 million subscribers. If you're new to the channel and not subscribed, what are you doing? Join the family. Hit that subscribe button if you like content like this. Now without further ado, let's get into this crazy story. Okay, that entire signing day mess, or whatever you want to call it, that happened in 2018. Before we even get into and talk about what happened to Jacob after that, let's talk about what happened before. Jacob Copeland in high school is listed at 6 foot and 190 pounds. And even though he didn't have a crazy body build, he made up for it with his game. He was a flat out beast at the wide receiver position. I mean, do I even have to say too much? You don't get offered from Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee for being a scrub. He had an 86 overall grade on ESPN and was listed as the 40th best overall player in the entire country. A little side note to throw in there is that he did run a 4.440, which was impressive. I could sit up here and go on and tell you about how good he was in high school, but we all know this kid could play. Let's talk about the main point of this video. Why was his mom so upset? Obviously, if you're just paying attention, you can tell that his mom either A, wants him to go to Alabama, or B, go to Tennessee. There's a reason she's not wearing Florida gear. Even though she got up and left, eventually she came back and it was all good. She was saying she was happy and all that nice stuff. She gave her son a hug and I believe that was on camera, and then later Copeland even tweeted out this. What my mama did today was hilarious. If you know her personally, that's her job. Put on a show. A lot of people had mixed emotions about that tweet because they were trying to say that he's just trying to laugh off the pain. And then too, they were saying that he was trying to make the situation seem like it wasn't that big of a deal. Also too, one thing we do gotta touch on is that there was a lot of people that were mad at his mom for acting the way she did. They were saying things like, oh, she took the attention away from her son. That was supposed to be his big moment. I do agree with that 100%, but there was also some people saying that it wasn't a big deal. He was tweeting about it, he was laughing about it, so as long as he was okay with it, that's all that matters. But however, it's not quite as simple as that. According to Jacob Copeland himself, he said that's just how his mom is and that's how she acts. Look, we get it. He's trying to take up for his mom and he's doing the right thing. But there was more to this story that people don't even know about. The reason his mom and nobody in that picture had on any Florida gear is because they didn't want him to go there because of gang violence. I honestly, even till this day, can't believe people don't know the actual story. I'm gonna try to make this as short and sweet because I think it's self-explanatory. Growing up, Copeland was involved with some gangs in the Gainesville area, and his mom wanted him to get out of that area and just go see something different. She felt like if he went to Florida, he was gonna be around those same people and it was gonna be a bad influence. So that right there is the main reason as to why she wouldn't have cared if he chose Alabama or Tennessee. She just wanted him away from Florida. She wasn't even looking at it from a football standpoint. She was looking at it from a personal standpoint. She was looking out for her son, but a lot of people don't even want to bring that up. And I already know what some of you are about to say. Well, Matt, why doesn't he just stay away from the gangs? And it's not that easy. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I have any experience with gangs or anything like that, but I know there's a lot to it. These gangs and people are really big on loyalty, so even if one of their bros make it out, they're still going to be a part of them. That right there is the real main reason, and when you hear that, it starts to make sense and it adds up. We're not even going to talk about this too much, but why would you choose Florida over Alabama anyways? But that's a different topic for another day. Especially if you're a wide receiver. Come on now, Alabama's wide receiver university. We're not done though. That's just as to why he even chose to go to Florida. So what happened when he got there and where is he today? Is he still involved with gangs? What's he doing? Let's get into it. His first year and season at Florida, it couldn't have gone any worse. Remember, this wasn't just your average Joe. This was one of the top recruits in the country. And in his first season at Florida, he only had one catch for 16 yards. I know what you're sitting there thinking. Yo, Matt, what the crap? This guy flopped in college. But not really. He was dealing with injuries that entire season, so I try to give players the benefit of the doubt with injuries and stuff like that. He missed most of the 2018 season because he had a leg injury that he could just never get over. Dealing with the injury bug his freshman season or first year at Florida, going into 2019 he got the redshirt, so he was once again listed as a freshman. It's his second year at Florida, but he's a freshman receiver. And in his second season for the year 2019, he improved, but I would say he still didn't live up to the hype. He caught 21 passes for 273 yards and he didn't have a single touchdown. Here's the thing and the problem. Those aren't terrible stats for an average player, but Jacob Copeland wasn't supposed to be an average player. Compared to the expectations, his second season at Florida was a disappointment. I get it though, that was his first real year of playing college football. He had 20 catches, so not too bad. As long as he improves in his second year, it was going to be all good. And in his second season, which was the year 2020, which was recently, he did improve. Oh my bad guys, he actually scored 2 touchdowns in 2019. I don't know why I read and said that wrong. Back up to date though, in 2020 he caught 23 passes for 435 yards and had 3 touchdowns. And technically that was his second and sophomore season. 23 catches, over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not great, but not bad. I'd say that's right in the middle and it's classified as mediocre and average, maybe good at best. I actually am a really big college football fan and a really big SEC college football fan. I watch a lot of Florida's games, so I will give him the benefit of the doubt, and this is why. Florida football has a lot of weapons at the wide receiver and tight end position, especially in the past couple of years. And Copeland has 2 years left of college football, and there is a good sign and what I look for in great players. Where we see big time recruits fall off and not live up to the hype is when they become stagnant and their stats either A, meet a plateau, or B, they go down every year. A good sign with Jacob is that his stats stats go up every single year. And going into the season coming up, he's supposed to be one of Florida's best players and best skill set position players. A lot of articles and stuff you'll even read about him are saying that Jacob Copeland is poised for a breakout season. I agree with that 100% because he's waited his time and I think he's up next. He's a great and talented player, we know that. He just hasn't really shined or proved it just yet, at least at the college level. And during spring practice, which wasn't too long ago, here's what he had to say. When I came out for spring practice, I looked around and realized it's on me now. My mindset just clicked. I really got to have that champion mindset and help lead this team. I'm the old head of the receivers, so I know all the younger receivers looking up to me. There's a lot of hype around this kid, especially if you keep up with Florida football. I think everyone else has said it best. He's primed to have a breakout year. He's quick, explosive, got good hands, good footwork, everything you like to see. Like I said earlier, I don't gotta tell you how good this kid is because he had an offer from Alabama and Florida. With all this being said, I do gotta say, he's got one of my favorite stories of all time. I think the reason I was so intrigued with this story was that nobody even has made a video or even talked about the real reason as to what went on. There was a lot to it, but I enjoyed making this and I hope you guys enjoyed the football content. We do it sometimes on this channel, but it's rare. And for Jacob Copeland, I'm wishing him the best of luck and I hope he continues to see a lot of success, stays healthy, and be the greatest football player he can be, and I'm gonna be rooting for him. Oh yeah, too, before we end this off, I know some of you may be curious. From everything I saw, it appears that he hasn't gotten in any trouble at Florida, so that's a good sign. And from all the information I gathered and read about, he seems like a great and humble kid. We make a lot of story videos on this channel, and more times than not, I'd say about 95% of the times, they just don't end good. This one ended good though, and I'm always happy when they end on a good note and the players continuing to get better and they have a great story with a great ending. Keep your eyes open for him because he may just shock everyone next year, and I think he's got a great shot at getting to the NFL. Let me know what you think about this entire mess and situation. But with all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? I see you. You're sitting in bed. You might as well hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.